Hello there, welcome to some more World of Tanks console with me, Wombo Leader, and in this one we're going to take a look at the French Tier 5 heavy tank, the BDR G1 B. Now this is a tank that's not going to win any awards for its looks. It's definitely a little bit of a ugly duckling, but one thing that's not ugly about this tank is the top gun, the 90mm DC something. Does 240 alpha damage with 135mm of pain, and at tier 5 a gun like that is a little bit crazy, especially if you get into a very much top tier match as we are going to do here at Heilbronn. You basically can two-shot the vast majority of the tanks on the enemy team, and in some cases you can literally take 2/3 of their health off, and it kind of makes your tank a little bit like, for example, an FV4005 at tier 5. If an FV4005 comes up across tier 8 tanks, they can take 2/3 of their health off, absolutely no problem whatsoever, with even just the armour piercing rounds, let alone the HESH rounds. So this gun, in comparison, kind of does the same thing to tier 4 tanks, and certainly does the same to tier 3 tanks, which makes it just a little bit crazy. And it has the advantage of only having a 7.5 second reload compared to the FV's, what, 20 second-ish reload. So yeah, you remove 2/3 of the hit points of a tank, and then 7.5 seconds later you can remove the rest of them. And I'm going to just show you how effective this gun is in a matchup like this. And to be honest with you, the gun, you know, if you're in a tier 7 game with 135mm of pain, you're going to contest the front of a Tiger 1. You can contest the hull of a T29 with penetration like that, and if you really want to spam the premium rounds, you've got 175mm of penetration, so you're going to not come up across anything at tier 7 that you can't contest with this gun if you spam the premium. And to be honest with you, the vast majority of tanks are going to be penable with just the standard rounds as well. So this one's getting underway here. We're just waiting to see what our team is going to do. So we're waiting to see some of the enemy team get spotted. You don't want to drive too far forward too quickly, even in a match like this. You can come round the corner into a nest of 4 or 5 tanks and your hit points will disappear very quickly. We're going to get our first shot into the Churchill. Now that is a tank that's got a few hit points, but we were still able to take like a third of them away there with one shot. Now this tank is all about the gun. The armour is pretty trash, as I shall demonstrate to you later on. It's just all about the gun. The guns, for me, the gun's a little bit crazy for tier 5. You know, I don't, you know, there is tier 5 tanks with derp guns that can do more damage, but they don't have the, you know, they're high explosive guns, so they don't have the penetration to really pain very often. This thing just pains everything at tier 5, and a little ELC is going to find out that we can remove their hit points pretty quickly. We took off half of them with the first shot, the other half with the second shot, and with the very few remaining hit points they had left, we just rammed them into the path of one of our teammates. We came up across a Stug 3 here, 370 hit points. We removed 2/3 of them with the first one. 7.5 seconds later, that's their tank removed from the game for our first kill, and then we're going to move forward here. So yeah, this gun just shreds other tanks, particularly tier 4 tanks. If you're top tier in this one, and top tier 3, a lot of tier 3 tanks are, you know, they're just beginning players. You know, this is a little bit seal clubbing, but I'm genuinely grinding this tank to get up to the. I like the French heavy line. I like the ARL44. I like the tier 7. What's at the M4? Or the M45, M445, something along those lines. I actually quite like the AMX, believe it or not, and then I like the tier 9 and the tier 10 as well. So I am genuinely grinding this tank at this point. Definitely, you know, it feels like seal clubbing, but you've got to play through these tanks at times, and we just got a very, very good matchmaking. But I can assure you, this tank does just fine against tier 6s and tier 7s as well, as long as you are using the gun and not the armour. So this one's looking like a win, but we just have to be a little bit cautious at this point because we know the remaining enemy tanks are going to be sitting up on this ridge line here. So if we go too far forward, they can indeed remove quite a lot of our hit points pretty quickly. But we put a round into the French tank destroyer. We've got a Hetzer here, a dangerous little tier 4 German tank destroyer. But we took off 2/3 of their hit points with the first shot. and then we finish them off with the second one. We've got a Matilda that's trying to run away. That's another dangerous tier 4 tank. He will shred the front of our tank, no problem whatsoever, but he's concentrating on somebody else. We take off a big chunk of their hit points with the first shot, and then I believe we either get an ammo rack there to do the 299 damage, or we get a super high roll. I think we probably can roll for 300 with this gun at 240 alpha, so that was a nice shot there. Removes the Matilda from the game for our third kill. We spot one of the arties skulking at the back of the map. We're going to put a round into them. 264 takes off 2/3 of their health. No sympathy whatsoever. Artie gets no sympathy from me, and then we remove them with the next shot 7.5 seconds later for kill number 4. Can we find our little piggy friend? I'm going to assume they're hiding up here somewhere. Very slow, this tank as well. As I said, this tank is all about the gun. The armour's crap. It's slow, it's big, it's ugly, but the gun absolutely hammers enemy tanks, particularly in a matchup like this. There's the Arty, 250 of their hit points gone. They missed their return shot. We'll get the round zipping in from the left hand side. We avoid them, and we remove the Arty 7.5 seconds later after the first shot. Beautiful, 2 shots. You know, that's basically what you do in this tank, isn't it? 2 shots per tank for a kill. The vast majority of them anyway. Just waiting until we get unspotted here. We've got 2 tanks left, a Type 95 and I believe an M5 Stuart. We'll jump into this bush here and see if we can spot up the tank that we're shooting at is there. We've seen the round going into the ridge, but really we should just be driving forward. We do have the vast majority of our hit points. I think the 6 damage that we've taken is maybe from the ram on the ELC or something along those lines. Maybe some splash damage from artillery. I'm not entirely sure. I don't even remember it happening. 2 enemy tanks left. We spot up the T95. He's got himself a nice little hull down position there. We're aiming in, then we see the light tank. Can we get the kill shot on the M5 Stuart or the M3 Stuart? It's a Stuart of some description. If we do, that's the top gun. And then we're going to try and get over the 3k damage here with a shot into the Type 95. We low roll for 217. Can't complain too much. We've had some good rolls in this one. Can we get the kill shot in and get over 3k damage? No, we bounced that one, so we did. The 34 damage would still get us over 3k. Nope, our inconsiderate teammates don't let us get over 3k damage, but 2,960 damage in a tier 5 tank is certainly nothing to be sniffed at. That's like it's not a terrible game in a tier 10 for a lot of players, let's be honest. But yeah, this tank, it's all about the gun. It's an ugly duckling. A lot of people are going to look at your tank and they're going to go, what the hell is that thing? Then you're going to shoot them. You're going to take 240 of their hit points off them. In some cases that's going to be half their hit points or 2/3 of their hit points, and then they're maybe going to start respecting your tank a little bit more. But it's not always plain sailing in the tier 5 French heavy. There's always a counter for just about everything in World of Tanks, and what better a counter than a captured KV-1 fully spamming the premium rounds at you. It was 1.9 second reload. We kind of had the misfortune to drive in front of this tank and they removed us very quickly from the game. But overall, I had a lot of fun in the BDR G1 B once it was fully upgraded. Hopefully you give this tank a little bit of a try. The gun is just awesome on it. But you can't always have things your own way, as the captured KV-1 has proven. Thank you for watching, folks. I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.